I guess I've started now. So we're going to graph secant now, and this is, we've done a couple things. I want to point out that when you don't see an amplitude, we need to remember that that's 1. And when you don't see a mid-value, then it's 0. So now we should be able to see all of our values. But I did do one tricky thing. Notice that the middle here is not written like that. So I need to fix that first. So I'm going to factor out a pi. So this is going to turn into pi x minus 2. And then I still am doing secant, and then I don't need the plus 0. So this is really the function that I'm graphing. So you just got to be aware when they don't give you that in the form that we're used to. Okay, so I've set everything up. I know that my phase shift is 2. The middle of my function is 0. So just like the previous one, I need to box out 1 period. So the middle of my function is 1. The top of my function is going to be, the middle of my function is 0. The top of my function is 1. The bottom is negative 1. So 1, 0. And then down here, I'll put another one at negative 1. And I now know that the start of my function is 2, so I will keep this to scale, and I know that this value here is 2, and I'm going to figure out the period. So period equals 2 pi divided by b, which in this case is pi, so my period is 2. So that tells me that at 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, I think I counted that right, is going to be my full period, right? So I know that my cosine function fits in here, right? Because this is secant, I'm actually going to graph cosine because we know the reciprocal of cosine is secant. So I'm going to graph cosine. I know that cosine starts at the top, also ends at the top. Halfway through, so at the value of 3, it's at the bottom. Halfway between 2 and 3, so at a 2.5, it's in the middle, and at 3.5, it's also in the middle. And so my cosine function looks like, whoops, other than I missed, that gives me my cosine function. Now I'm going to sketch in the secant function. So just like before, we look to see where there are zeros. All my zeros, or anytime it goes through my midline, those are my vertical asymptotes. So there's my vertical asymptotes. And then all I have to do is just sketch from there. So this line goes up. I could infer that at negative 2.5, whoops. I guess I didn't really do this to a very good scale. Whoops. Yeah, I screwed up my scale. But anyway, at 1.5 is another 0, so my function would follow that vertical asymptote. And I would do that all the way down the line. Again, so the red function is the real function that we're graphing, just like the cosecant graph that we did before. The period is 2 pi, and we should be able to see that same shape. It's just shifted. Cool. Thank you.